Well, good morning. It's November the 8th. Chilly. It was like 29, I think, when I woke up this morning. Took me forever to get in here and get set up because it's a nice, still morning. We got a good frost, as you'll see, and there's generally deer in this creek bottom. We're supposed to have a relatively low mile-an-hour wind today, 3-4 mile an hour. So I thought I could get away with hunting this stand I hung last night. We didn't see any deer last night, but there's always a lot of activity right here. I've run a camera not far from here the last 2 years and seemed to pick up a lot of deer crossing through. And I was taking it painfully slow. I did kick up one deer. I went about 60, 70 yards from the stand, but the good news is I probably got to 30 yards or so from it. And it just trotted off. But no more than I'd put 1 foot in the stand, I had a buck come walking by. I didn't get it. Obviously, it was still pretty dark, but I didn't get a good look at him, obviously, but you could tell it was a buck. Definitely tell by the way it was walking. And then, just about 5 minutes ago, there was a deer of some sort that trotted out of the power line into the woods. I may not see anything the rest of the morning, but at least deer do exist in here. I was pretty sure I heard a buck grunt there just before I started doing my interview. We better get quiet. It could be a good morning. Well, that didn't take long. I don't think I ever got any footage of him, but I had one shot opportunity, and he's just not quite what I want. He was actually smaller than the deer I passed the other day. I just caught a glimpse of him. I could hear him, and caught a glimpse of him. I could tell he had a, fairly wide frame, and I just did one soft grunt the opposite direction, and he come in. I had one shot there at 25, but even though it's been a struggle, I'm still not going to shoot a smaller deer. He was a 2-year-old. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come. We've been covered up in deer so far. I promise I'll get some on camera sooner or later here. I'm trying. It's just, as you can tell behind me, these places I'm hunting is thicker nail. Well, I just learned something big time right there. I did something I normally don't do. I blind called. I just did 2 grunts back this way towards the creek bottom. And it wasn't 10 seconds. And that little young buck come barreling out of the woods over there. The one thing I learned though is I've been sitting here dropping milkweed, and it'll fall one direction or the other, but it's not making it 10 yards from the stand, and that's max. Some of them's not 10 foot. Well, the whole way he was coming in there, that milkweed was dropping towards him. And you can see, obviously, in the video when he hits my scent, he looks right up at me, and there's cover between me and him. And he was probably inside 10 yards before he even hit my scent. Now the stupid thing got way back in there and started blowing. I know he didn't smell me back there. He just wasn't sure, but had that been a big one, we could have killed him. I feel like that Eminem and Santa Claus commercial where they both see each other and say, they do exist. That's how I feel this morning seeing all these deer. I just saw either 3 or 4 does and fawns. It might have been a doe and 2 fawns, but they were kind of all over the place, and I couldn't keep them all apart. So just the one since daylight I've seen. That 110, 115 inch 8-point. That little 1.5 year old that I grunted both of those in, but one of them I'd seen first. The other one I blind grunted. And then saw those does. So definitely a buck that walked by the stand this morning. There was another deer that trotted in the woods up above me before daylight, and then I kicked that one up sneaking in here. So it's been a good morning. And it's just 8:25. I'm actually gonna grunt again real quick. Seems like these deer are out on the move. I'm gonna blow it. I'm gonna check my wind real quick, and then I'm gonna blow it probably back through the creek bottom. Trying to pull deer out from private land over there. About 100 yards or so. I am flat covered up in deer right now. I just had another 2-year-old buck push them does out of the woods over there, grunting his head off. I let out some louder grunts back across the creek bottom. Just to, maybe if there's another good buck in the area. I've kind of got some live decoys going on. I hadn't seen them in a few minutes, but I wish I could get this stuff on film, but it is so thick in here. I can't find them in the monitor. Or in the screen, so I went ahead and put on my big monitor, so maybe that'll help. The only bad news is the day winds are starting to pick up a little bit and getting a little bit of swirling, but maybe we can get a good buck to come by on a mission. He won't pay much attention, or he gets so close that it doesn't matter. God, it's a great hunt, man. I've seen more deer this morning than I have the whole rest of the trip. Alright guys, well, it's a little after 10:30 now, and I would call that a great morning in the deer woods. Saw some chasing. I don't know how many different deer, at least 4 different bucks, but they were all 2 1/2, 2 2.5s. Pretty sure I had a good buck slip by me first thing this morning. Like, my foot had been on the platform for less than 2 minutes. It was about 5, maybe 10 minutes before legal light, and looked like a pretty good buck. So you'll see me back in this area. I'm actually going to pull this stand right now, and I'm going to take the kayak across the lake and go in a spot that Logan hunted a couple days. I'm going to go in there just with the stand on my back and try and find some hot sign and set up on it. It's a good wind for doing that. We're supposed to be having northeast winds, I think, which sets up perfect for it. So I really hung in here much longer than I'd like to, because the wind starts swirling so bad where it's just kind of in a bottom. But I was seeing deer, and I just wanted to stay. You know, this late in the game, I'm not too worried about spooking a few. It only takes that one on a mission. But I'm gonna pack everything up, tear it down. I gotta run back to the cabin and get some different boots. I got my lace-up leather boots on, and I'll need some rubber boots. So we're gonna get after it. Maybe it should be a good evening. Pressure's up. There is a storm front moving in overnight tonight. It's not looking good for a morning hunt tomorrow morning, but tomorrow midday and afternoon should be good after that front moves through. There's a big cold front on the backside of it, so on paper this should be a good evening for deer hunting. So we'll see. Stick with me. We actually have something to look forward to and some promise to go off of. So when I come back down here, I'm probably going to shift trees just a little bit. This tree I couldn't shoot as much as I wanted, which I'm not going to be able to shoot that much, but there is one big opening over here that is just dead, like I can't shoot it, and I need to be able to. So I don't know where it'll be. I hate to move this way anymore, because I'm just leaving a bunch of ground scent behind me, and those deer come in the woods behind me a lot. I may just give up some of these shots down here and move up here, right here behind me. But we'll figure that out. But for now, I'm going to tear down real quick and get the heck out of here. Alright, as usual, I'm running a little late, but I wanted to show you my kayak setup. So you can see, this is just a cheap 10-foot, like Future Beach. I got my pack and stand, ratchet strap to the back, bow bungeed to the front, and then I wear my life jacket. I wanted to show you, I just kayaked in to this cove right through here, got out, and there was a doe trotting out this ridge, and I'm gonna go right back here. We got a northeast wind that's coming like this. You know, it should be coming from the back out here. I'm gonna get my stand on my back real quick, and I'm just gonna drop milkweed and see if it's truly a northeast or what's it doing, and I'm gonna base my setup off of that. Obviously this evening, the evening thermals are gonna be falling towards the lake, so we'll see. I'm ready to get in the woods. It's about 15 till 2 right now. Alright, well, we're set up finally. I really went slow. Right after I shut the camera off earlier, when I was showing you the kayak and I mentioned that doe trotting out the hill, as soon as I kayaked into the cove. Well, I had no more than shut the camera off and put it back in my backpack, and I heard a buck grunting up here. Seems like today's really a good day to be in the woods, but I've got a decent wind advantage. If the deer did the same thing that doe does, it could get a little hairy. But Logan hunted in this vicinity the other night, and going off what he said, a good buck he saw did, I'm set up pretty good for that. I'm getting about 30 degrees of shift from the wind. We're just going to cross our fingers, but I am going to grunt like right off the bat. It's about 10 to 3. I'm just going to go ahead and grunt. We know the deer are on their feet. We know they're being vocal. Just to kind of set things for you. Let me see. Right in front of me here. All this. That's about a 10-year overgrown field. You can't even walk through it. I mean, it's just nasty thicket. And then we got the creek that feeds the cove there. And then we got the lake you can see behind me. So really, we're on the downwind side of that thicket, and kind of got a pinch for anything working the edge of it. Kind of pinches them down. There's some really big rubs in the back of this cove, and some pretty good tracks. I can hear deer over here right now. So just to clue everybody in, I just found out why that deer was running. It was being chased by a freaking dog. And at some point I've got to catch a break. Like, I've got this spot, perfect access, perfect wind, tons of deer sign. I mean, and then there's like some dog with legs this long chasing deer. Oh, public land, man. That's why when somebody kills one on public, you gotta really appreciate it, because there's some serious struggles that go into it. Well, we'll sit here and try and enjoy our sit. Maybe we'll get lucky and see some deer that's not being chased by like a Jack Russell. Well, all in all, not a bad hunt. I really felt like we had a decent chance tonight, but we just need him to be a couple years older. Kind of odd that they were still solo. It's pretty cool to have that turkey roost as I was filming those deer too. All in all, a good day of hunting. The sun set about 8-9 minutes ago, so we got just a few minutes left, but I wanted to go ahead and do an interview before camera light totally ran out. Oh, I hear something. It's probably the same deer. It sounds close, but I can't see it for nothing.